Let's take a look at a dramatic shift in the landscape of desktop operating systems. Not so long ago, Windows was the undisputed king, commanding an incredible 90% of the market back in 2015. But with Windows 11, that story began to change. The new OS saw an initial peak, reaching a 55% market share in October of 2025. However, that momentum didn't last, and by December of the same year, it had already slipped below 51%. As the downward trend on this diagnostic panel clearly shows, this isn't just a slowdown. The most critical insight here is that users are actively choosing not to upgrade, signaling a major disconnect between Microsoft and its user base. So what caused this user attrition? A primary reason was the creation of a hardware wall that locked out millions of potential users. Microsoft introduced a strict security requirement called TPM 2.0, which, while framed as a feature, instantly made an estimated 55% of existing PCs incompatible. Imagine being told your perfectly functional 2-year-old car can't use the new public roads. This decision effectively forced users into a corner. Either stick with an older operating system or buy brand new hardware. It was a move widely seen as artificial obsolescence on a massive scale, rendering perfectly good machines outdated overnight. Beyond the hardware barrier, there was Microsoft's massive $13 billion bet on AI, a bet that many users felt they never asked for. This investment in OpenAI manifested as Copilot, an AI assistant that was aggressively pushed into nearly every corner of the Windows operating system. But this forced integration came with serious problems. A major security vulnerability was discovered in its recall feature, which stored sensitive user data completely unencrypted, a huge red flag for privacy. Despite its heavy integration, engagement metrics showed that people simply weren't using it. Ultimately, the strategy backfired, and by February 2026, Microsoft had to begin the quiet process of removing Copilot from basic applications. This leads us to an even deeper issue: the moment when your operating system stops being a tool and starts becoming the product. The user experience shifted towards one of constant surveillance and control. It started with making a Microsoft account mandatory, giving the company a direct link to the user. This was followed by pervasive data collection and tracking, turning personal computer use into a stream of data to be analyzed. On top of that, users had to contend with bloatware, forced advertisements, and other unwanted changes pushed through updates. As this data log shows, the cumulative effect was a profound sense that users had lost control over the very machines they owned. With so much frustration, where did these users go? They started what many are calling the Linux exodus, as a real alternative has finally arrived for the mainstream. The Linux desktop platform has seen an incredible 300% growth in just 5 years. Its market share has more than tripled, jumping from 1.5% in 2020 to nearly 5% globally by 2025, even surpassing 5% in the United States. Thanks to user-friendly options like Mint, Zorin, and Ubuntu, it's more accessible than ever. Most tellingly, when users are asked why they switched, the primary reason they cite is their negative experience with Windows 11. All of this points to a new future, and what looks like a reckoning for Microsoft. The long era of a single operating system monopoly appears to be ending, as real competition is finally back. The company itself has started to acknowledge that Windows 11 went off track. In response, they're promising to scale back the AI overload and return to a stability-first approach. Meanwhile, Linux is poised to continue its growth, solidifying its place as a genuine alternative for everyday users. The message from the market is loud and clear. Users are demanding control, privacy, and stability above all else, and they are willing to switch to get it.